Hello, my name is Padma Chandra. I'm a Buddhist, and I thought it would be helpful to post a video for people who've been thinking of learning to meditate, perhaps for some time, but have felt they haven't had time to do it, or have just been too busy, or haven't known how to learn to meditate, and also for people who are looking for tools to respond or deal with the stress of this very uncertain coronavirus situation. So this video is about just under half an hour long, and for the first 10 to 15 minutes I'll be talking about why we might want to meditate, how meditation works, and a little bit about setting up for meditation. In the second half we'll actually be doing a meditation I'll be leading us through. I've been meditating for over 20 years probably. And two of the reasons that I meditate and what I find really helpful is it helps me to not be so reactive to whatever happens in my life. I feel that it gives me a bit of a spaciousness and gap. I get to know my habits and tendencies, and after a while I just sort of get to know how not to react, and what I need in different situations, because meditation sort of raises our awareness if we do it regularly, and we just we notice our habits of mind through meditation, both on the cushion and also just in everyday life. And the second reason or thing that I find helpful about meditation is when you're worried. You might have noticed this: when you're worried or stressed, your sort of focus gets very, this is scientifically proven many times, it's very, very kind of narrow, and you can't sort of see the possibilities, other options, or you can't be creative. So in these videos I'm going to be teaching two fundamental practices that are really all that you need. They've been practiced for thousands of years in the Buddhist tradition. And the two practices are something called the Mindfulness of Breathing, and then the second one is, the Pali word is the metta bhavana practice, but bhavana means to cultivate, and metta means a sort of unconditional loving response, a kindly response to whatever is encountered. So the metta bhavana and the mindfulness of breathing. And they both very much complement and support each other. I'd say they were both equally important. So what we're going to be doing today is the mindfulness of breathing practice. The focus of this practice is the breath, as the title suggests. And a simile that I find, or a metaphor that I find helpful, is to think of our energy in everyday life is often like, if you think of it as like water, that's on a very flat surface, and the water is not moving very much, it's just dispersed over a flat surface. Perhaps it's got quite muddy because it's not moving. And then with the meditation, what we're trying to do is we're trying to direct that energy more. So we're kind of gathering it by bringing our attention to an object. We're gathering the energy, and then it can sort of flow more, and it can create a channel in which the water can flow more purely and more freely. And another part of this metaphor is that it also can bring up new, fresh, pure water through that movement of the channel, the water flowing through the channel. So that's the mindfulness of breathing that we're going to be learning. Before I teach you the actual 4-stage mindfulness of breathing, there's a couple of experiments I thought we could try. Just introduce how we approach meditation. So the first one is just holding your hands out, or one of your hands out like this, and just notice the sensations on the palm of your hand. So just notice if you can feel any temperature there. You move your hand about a bit and you can feel the air. Maybe you can feel tingling sensations. Maybe you can feel different sensations in different parts of the palm of the hand. So warmth, coolness, tingling. Yeah. So, you might not actually be able to feel anything. That's quite common as well. Through meditation, we become more sensitive to sensations. So it's, and now just try thinking about the sensations in the hand. I'm not quite sure how to do that actually, but there is a distinction. There is a distinction between thinking about sensation and actually experiencing sensation. So that, that'll be an experiment that you can bring into the meditation, the difference between thinking about parts of the body or sensations in the body and experiencing them. So we're very much bringing the awareness to the experience as much as we can, but we're kind of exploring really the whole thing. Then the second experiment, just sitting here, maybe close your eyes, just getting a sense in your body what it feels like to be in a busy and doing mode, if that's possible. Got things to do, places to go, that sort of thing. And I can feel that my face and my forehead get a bit tensed up. My shoulders are a bit, go up a bit. And I've got this sort of forward-leaning sense of ready to go, ready to get somewhere. It feels a little bit like a sort of slightly high-pitched feeling. You might have a different experience of that doing mode. Okay, so now just letting go of that and bringing to mind a being mode. What would the body feel like if you were in a being mode? So one way of entering into a being mode is just recollecting or having a sense of the fact that we don't have to be anywhere. We are the result of thousands of years of evolution. That is enough. Just sitting here, we are simply expressing the evolution of just being. So we've got nowhere to go at this very moment. We don't have to be anyone. Just be like a pebble or a sort of rounded stone at the bottom of a pool or a river, just sitting there. That's nice. How does that feel in the body? And it does, to me, it feels quite different. It feels like my energy starts to go further down in the body. I feel a bit more grounded in the lower part of the body. My centre of gravity is lower. My face is more relaxed. I feel like I can expand. So with this experiment, we could just come out of that now. What we can bring to meditation is more of this sense of being. Or that's what we're kind of moving towards or leaning towards as best we can. It's not always easy to make that transition from doing to being. That's one of the challenges, is really the challenge of giving ourselves permission to let go of all the doing. A time of day for meditation is quite good, I find, is first thing in the morning, although some people do it last thing at night. A time when you feel that it's more easy to let go of the demands of the day. Okay, so that was the experiments. Now the practice. So the practice of the mindfulness of breathing, it's in 4 stages. And as I say, the focus is the breath, and it's the sensations of the breath. And we can also bring an attitude of curiosity and interest to what actually the sensations of the breath are like, because they're always different, and we have an idea of what the breath is and what it feels like. But when we actually bring our awareness to the breath and the sensations of the breath, well, we don't know. Let's discover what that really is. For a sit that will be about 3 minutes in each for the 4 stages, so it'll be about 12-minute practice. I'm just going to move this little note that I've got for myself so I can see the clock, and I've got some bells, so I'll be ringing the bells, which sound like that. So getting into a position where you're going to be both alert, so that's sort of upright and awake, but at the same time relaxed, or as relaxed as you can be, upright and letting go. And then actually, if the spine is upright, there can be a sense of the rest of the body being able to let go around that. So there can be this sense of sort of uprightness through the centre of the body and the spine, and dropping away to the shoulders down the back, and the hips opening. You could be sitting in an upright chair, or you could just be sitting on cushions. And however you're sitting, you want to be able to let go of the body. So if, you know, those pictures that you see of people meditating with their knees sort of cross-legged with their knees up, that's not actually a very good posture, because they're having to hold their knees up. I sit like that, but I prop one of my knees up with cushions. I might do something on posture in another video. We're in a posture that's upright and comfortable. We can also let people know that we're going to be meditating, so it's good to tell people in your household that you're going to be unavailable for 10 or 20 minutes if you feel brave enough or able to do that. People are often much more open to it than you might imagine. Okay, so closing your eyes. And I'm going to talk us through each stage. So the first stage of the mindfulness of breathing. So what we're doing in this stage, first of all, connecting with the body and the posture, connecting with the ground. So wherever your bottom is touching the ground, maybe if you've got your feet on the ground, just noticing the soles of the feet against the ground, and noticing the sensations there, experiencing that whatever sensations are there. I'm looking for a sense of dignity in the posture. It's always good just to check in with the body a bit for a few moments before you start meditating. And notice any holding that's there, and you don't need to do anything about that holding. You're just noticing it. And sometimes simply noticing does actually release it a little bit, but sometimes it doesn't, and that's fine. Okay, now notice the breath in the body. So scanning the body and noticing the sensations of the breath. Maybe taking a few extra deep breaths just to locate the breath. And just noticing where you can most strongly feel the sensations of the breath. Is it in the belly or the chest, the back? Or the nose? If you have been suffering from stress or anxiety, it's good to keep awareness in the lower part of the body, so that we're not feeding that tendency to frantically think about things. So just breathing down through the sitting bones, the bones at the centre of the buttocks. And then just locating a place where you can feel the breath most strongly. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be counting the breath in this first stage. So when you're experiencing the breath coming in, experiencing the breath going out, and dropping in a count at the end of the out breath. So breathing in, out, and then counting in one count, counting one, silently to yourself. And then experiencing the breath coming in, going out, dropping in the count 2. The same again, and counting 3. So as you can see, there's just one count per breath, and then we just do that until we reach 10, and then we go back to 1 again. And the counting is simply there to give us a bit of a handrail into the practice, because otherwise we can get very distracted. It doesn't really matter that much in itself. So let's just try that for a few moments. What you might notice is that your mind keeps going back into your thoughts, and that's absolutely fine, and it's absolutely normal. That is what the mind is like. And we just keep coming back to the breath. So the main point is this intention to come back to the breath. Just, if we find that we've counted up to 13 before we've noticed, or we find we can't go past 2, it really doesn't matter. It's a bit like training a puppy. You just keep very kindly but firmly putting the puppy back where it's supposed to be, and then it will wander off again. You just keep coming back, keep with a lot of kindness and gentleness bringing the puppy back. Just checking every now and then that the face and the forehead and the shoulders are still as open and sort of dropped, relaxed as they can be. Remembering the being mode. So moving into the second stage. So in the second stage, we're still counting, but we're counting in a different place. So we count before the in-breath. So counting 1 and then experiencing the in-breath, and then the out-breath, and then counting 2, experiencing the in-breath, the out-breath, and doing that until we reach 10 again, and then back to 1 breath. So there's more of an anticipation of the in-breath. And so I think it moves us a little bit more towards that being mode, that receptive mode, that curiosity mode. And if you meditate regularly, you get a sense of being able to let go of controlling the breath and just trusting that the breath is just happening anyway, and we can just enjoy witnessing and abiding in that process. I'm just going to now move to the third stage. So in the third stage of the practice, we're going to let go of the counting altogether and just in a sort of being mode with kindness. It's always good to bring a bit of sort of kindness to ourselves if we can, or to the process of breathing. We just let go of the counting and just be aware of the breath in a more full kind of embodied way. So if you're a visual person, you might imagine the breath as the sea coming in, the waves, something like that. And it's always different. Sometimes it can help to ask yourself questions about the breath, like what's the quality of the breath? Is it rough or smooth? What's the duration of the in-breath, the duration of the out-breath? Is it long, short, or medium? It just helps to take an interest in what the breath is actually like and stay with it. And then in the final stage, notice the breath coming into the body, but we notice the point where it comes from the outside to the inside. So wherever that sensation, you first feel the sensation of the breath. So for me at the moment, it's just one of my nostrils. You might feel it in the top of the top lip, or in the back of the throat, or in the mouth, or lower down in the body. It's really just focusing on one particular point of sensation. If you are feeling very anxious or anything like that, You can deliberately just bring that awareness, that narrower focus, to lower down in the body, so the belly or something like that, or the lower back, and just breathe there. But what we're doing is we're kind of focusing on a smaller area, the sensations there, either where the breath just first enters the body, or lower, or a point lower in the body. So we're just going to be bringing the practice to an end, but before we completely finish, just sitting for a moment, letting go of doing anything at all, or anything in particular. Nowhere to go and no one to be. Okay, so that's the end of the teaching of the mindfulness of breathing. I hope you find that helpful, and I'll be doing another video in due course about the loving kindness meditation. But in the meantime, be kind to yourselves and to those that you meet, because each meeting is precious, and make the most of your connections. Okay, bye bye.